Over the weekend, the U.S. hit the mark of 50% of U.S. adults having received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine, as all 50 states are now making vaccines available to anyone over the age of 16. But as vaccine access expands, many conservatives across the country have remained hesitant, if not outright resistant to taking the vaccine. So now several GOP doctors serving in Congress are working to convince skeptical conservatives to take the shot. Here's ABC's MaryAlice Parks.
Back home in his Maryland district, Congressman and Dr. Andy Harris is helping to vaccinate his constituents one shot at a time.
All right.
Nice job, doctor.
All right.
An anesthesiologist, Harris has asked patients to roll up those sleeves 3 times at COVID vaccination sites this spring.
You should be getting the vaccine because the benefits outweigh the risks, and we need to make sure that we protect our most vulnerable people in the United States. All right.
Harris is one of several doctors now serving in Congress who've hung up their suit jackets for their white coats to help with the vaccination effort.
I'm Dr. Greg Murphy, physician and a member of the United States Congress. I have taken the vaccine, and I hope you will also. Getting vaccinated is the quickest way for us as a society to get our freedoms back.
Hold your sleeve up.
But as one of the most conservative members of the House, Congressman Harris knows that his presence may go a long way, that there is hesitation among some Republican voters to take the shot.
Republicans are more skeptical of government. When the government comes out and says, we think you ought to take the vaccine, some people's natural reaction is, let me think about that. They hesitate a little bit. Look, this vaccine is still technically an experimental vaccine. So some people who are generally skeptical about new things, I don't blame them for being skeptical about this vaccine.
Recent polls have shown wider resistance to take the vaccine among conservatives. In a Quinnipiac poll, 45% of Republicans said they did not plan to get a COVID-19 vaccine right now, compared to 27% of Americans overall. And this analysis by the Associated Press found that some red states have lagged in vaccination rates. The bottom 5 states where fewer than 40% of adult residents have received at least one dose of the vaccine include Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Georgia. All states with Republican governors, 4 of which voted for former President Donald Trump last fall.
We're seeing real hesitancy in certain groups, mostly Republicans, who fear the concerns around the vaccine or maybe downplay the risks around the pandemic. Unfortunately, immunization has become sort of this partisan issue, and I think it stems from political leaders having bred misinformation or downplayed the impact of the virus.
People might be hesitant to take the vaccine for a whole host of personal reasons. Talk to me about some of the reasons that patients, that you're aware of, patients saying why they're waiting to take the vaccine or why they're worried.
There's a wide range of reasons why people are hesitant or maybe even refuse the vaccine. Of course, there are people that don't believe that the pandemic is that severe, and so they don't need to take the vaccine. There's some that think that it's not a problem that relates to them specifically, and they don't see the larger impact on the community. There are clearly many people that have concerns that the vaccine has been rushed, especially when you look at some of the newer technology like mRNA. Despite no corners being cut, there is a concern that with the new vaccine that there might be unintended consequences.
The single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine had been developed using a more traditional approach, which some Americans found comforting. Now experts worry the pause on the rollout of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine could lead to more hesitancy.
This latest Johnson & Johnson pause is going to just, add a little skepticism, but I think we'll get over it. I think people are going to realize, these are 1 in a million events. They're very, very unusual. You're more likely to get injured in a car accident on the way to the clinic than to have this problem occur. So I'm hoping that people get over that skepticism.
From Iowa, Congresswoman Marionette Miller Meeks ran her state's Department of Public Health before being elected to Congress last year. She knows that when she helps at home, it goes a long way.
There was an elderly couple coming in, and they were of such an age that I would have thought they'd already been vaccinated. And so as they were coming in, I asked them if they're getting vaccinated, and they said they were very nervous, they were very anxious. And I said, well, how would you feel if I gave you your vaccine? And they said, that would be great. And so it was just this matter of calming them down, reassuring them, talking them through.
That's all there is to it.
Both Harris and Miller Meeks say they are optimistic that as more people talk to members of their own family who have had a vaccine, the skepticism will fade.
And so I think for us, our job is to be able to get the word out, to let people know, and to be mindful that there are side effects, to be understanding and compassionate, but also to counter that with the scientific data that we have and that we know, and that we always approach it from the standpoint, We're going to get out of the pandemic. We're going to crush the pandemic. We're going to get to the point where we're not wearing masks, kids are back in school, people are back at work, you're able to get together with your friends and your family, which is a goal for all of us to make us a safer, healthier nation.
The White House says they're also working on outreach to red states.
We've run PSAs on the deadliest catch. We're engaged with NASCAR and country music TV. We're looking for a range of creative ways to get directly connected to white conservative communities.
And former President Trump, who once had the biggest bullhorn on the pandemic, encouraged his supporters to take the shot during a Fox News interview.
So, Mr. President, I know that you received the vaccine. Mrs. Trump also got the vaccine. Would you recommend to our audience that they get the vaccine then?
I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me, frankly. But, you know, again, we have our freedoms, and we have to live by that, and I agree with that also. But it's a great vaccine, it's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
A message that Congressman Harris hopes to amplify to skeptical conservatives.
President Trump supports the vaccine. He developed the vaccine. He ran Operation Warp Speed. The president's come out very clearly saying this is safe and effective.
For ABC News, MaryAlice Parks in Washington.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.